Hey everybody, Jack Hollingsworth here. I have been besieged by requests to explain how to engage people by telling a story, how to be a better storyteller. So, when I say besieged, truth to tell, it's 7. I've had 7 people respond to my emails and ask me. So, for you 7, and for everybody else that follows, here are my strategies. So, first of all, to set the stage, when you want to engage your audience, you have 3 choices for your major engagers. In other words, there's 3 big things you can do to engage your audience. And in those major engagers, there's a whole bunch of little things you can do, little tactics you can do called minor aligners, all right? Now they rhyme to help you remember them. So let's say I wanted to get across the point that it's dangerous to make assumptions. All right, if that's the point I want to get across, then I'm going to get that point across by telling a story. Telling a story is a major engager. It allows me to use a whole bunch of ingredients, a whole bunch of minor aligners to keep your attention all the way through my presentation to bring the point home, okay? So let's say I want to show you how bad of an idea it is to make an assumption. And the story I'm going to tell you is what a hungry bear taught me about the danger of assumptions. All right, what a hungry bear taught me about the danger of assumptions. So this story is a true story. It takes place several years ago. My family and I, my wife, 3 kids, were camping in the northern wilds of Ontario, Canada. We had brought my brother with me. My brother's nickname is Bones. So the kids were all excited to have Uncle Bones traveling with them. And so when we got to the campsite, backed the van in and opened up the hatch. And when we opened up the hatch, I pulled out the family tent, which was good for my wife and I and my youngest child, Ben. And then there's another pup tent that my 2 older children pulled out, and that's where they were sleeping, because they're older. They're not going to sleep with mom and dad. And Bones brought his own pup tent, and he was very secretive about unpacking it and setting it up and, shoving stuff inside so that we couldn't see, but I didn't really notice that. So when night fell, got the kids ready for bed and, cleaned up all the food so there was no food hanging around, and went to bed. It must have been, 10:30. So pulled the zipper down, got into the old sleeping bag, turned the lights off, and not a half an hour later, 15 minutes later, we hear all sorts of animals, chirp, 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 chirping and scratching and, arguing back and forth and the clunking of things. So turn on the flashlight, unzip the sleeping bag, unzip the tent, out I come in my pajama pants, shining the flashlight all around. And what do I see? I see a whole bunch of raccoons skedaddling, scooting away from the picnic table. Silly me, I forgot to put the lid on the Rubbermaids that had the food. All right. So grab the lids, bang, bang. You know how tight Rubbermaid lids can be. Bang, 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 bang. The lids are on tight. I try to take the lids off. Like, no animal is going to get into that. Go back to bed. Tent zipper goes down into the sleeping bag. Off goes the light. And probably a half hour later, I hear exactly the same sound. Bang, bang, bang. Thump, thump, thump. Gar, 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 gar. And on goes the light. Open the sleeping bag, open the tent, and I come out. And not only have the raccoons figured out how to pry open a Rubbermaid container lid, they have sent their baby raccoon inside the Rubbermaid to grab the granola bars and push them out. And when I came out, they all took off, leaving the poor baby raccoon inside the Rubbermaid to try to look as cute as possible so that I didn't eat it. So, of course, you know, the kids are hollering out, "What's out there, Dad?" My wife is wondering what's going on. It's just a raccoon in the Rubbermaid. So I, you know, tipped the box over, away it scooted, put the lid on, opened the hatch of the van, put the boxes in there, piled them up, shut the hatch, locked it. Okay, shone the light around. There is no other food around that a raccoon would love. Go to bed. Probably an hour later, it must have been close to midnight, I hear more noise, but it's not at the picnic table. It's my brother Bones. And my brother Bones is having an argument with somebody, and I think maybe he's having a bad dream. I don't know. But I'm listening. And the kids are asleep. And I think my wife is asleep too, but I'm listening, and I hear Bones, you know, who typically has a bit of a short temper, and I hear him, "What? Oh, come on, get away from me. Get out of here. Come on." So I think nothing of it. It's not affecting my tent, therefore it's not affecting my sleep. I go back to sleep. In the morning, everyone wakes up, you know, kids get up, run off to the bathrooms, and we are getting breakfast ready, and Bones peeks his head out of the tent, and I say, "What a night, eh? Those raccoons are crazy. I never would have thought they could pry open the lid of Rubbermaid." He says, "Yeah, after that, I don't know if you heard, but I opened a package of pirate cookies, those peanut butter cookies." And immediately I'm thinking, wait a minute, we're all doing family camping, we're all sharing our food, and you sneaked a package of pirate cookies under your pillow? What are you, grade 6? Anyways, he says, this is what I did, and I waited till everyone was asleep, and I started crinkle, opening up the package. And then I hear it outside my tent. And I'm thinking, oh man, that's a big raccoon. Why is it around here? It must smell the peanut butter. And so I'm really quiet, but I want those cookies because now I'm really hungry. And I start eating the cookie, and I hear, and then against the tent, I feel, this raccoon is pushing itself against the tent, trying to get in to eat my cookies, says my brother Bones. So I push back. I'm tired. I want to have my cookies and I want to go back to sleep. But this animal will have none of it. So he keeps pushing against the tent. Finally, I got fed up and I punched that raccoon right in the nose. I said, "What happened then?" He said, "No, I don't know. It went away." I said, "Wow, you're really lucky that I didn't bite you or something." Raccoons, you know, they're not really aggressive. You shoo them away or you give them a good knock and away they'll go. No problem. So that was all well and good. Half an hour later, the park ranger shows up and he says, "Good morning, folks. Everyone having a good time?" And we say, "Yes, we love our campsite. Great place, great weather." He says, "Just wanted to let you know that there has been a black bear sighted on the campground, and it's not a cause for alarm. You know, it definitely isn't really dangerous. I do want to warn you, though, not to tease it, you know, not to goad it. It's just hungry, but, you know, if it gets angry, it could do some damage. So just ignore it when it comes in, you know, shoo it away, and all should be good." And I look over at my brother Bones, and he is like white as a ghost. And he said to me after the park ranger left, "I've got a feeling I actually punched a black bear last night." And I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't a raccoon that you punched. I'm pretty sure it was a black bear." That is the danger of making assumptions. He assumed it was a raccoon. He assumed it wasn't dangerous. He assumed with one punch he could easily take care of the problem, not knowing that on the other side of the tent was a bear of 300 or 400 pounds and very sharp teeth. Luckily, one shot in the nose got rid of them. It could have been a very, very different story. Just as funny though. Anyways, that is how I would get a point across about the danger of making assumptions. My major engager that I used is storytelling. I told you a story to get a point across. Now, I used what we call some minor aligners as well in that story, okay? So a minor aligner is engage their curiosity, right? The title of the story was What a Hungry Bear Taught Me About the Danger of Making Assumptions. So your brain is already thinking, what does a bear have to do with assumptions? So that is a minor aligner, engaging their curiosity, okay? Using nicknames, giving nicknames is a minor aligner. My brother's name is Bones, and your brain is already thinking, I wonder why he's called Bones. Another minor aligner is using my body when I'm showing you how I shone the flashlight, when I zipped and unzipped the tent. I'm using my body to engage your brain. Another minor aligner is changing my voice when I imitated my brother, when I imitated the park ranger, when I was talking about cute little raccoons. I changed my voice inflection. I changed the speed at which I was telling the story. I went from loud to soft. Another minor aligner is using a callback. Now, a callback in the comedy world is where we say something or tell a joke or set something up at the beginning of the story, and at the end of the story, we refer back to it, and that engages your brain as well. So at the very beginning of the story, I mentioned the problem we had with raccoons. And at the end of the story, I brought it back to the fact that it wasn't a raccoon. It was, in fact, a black bear. So that, my friend, is how you can become a great storyteller. It's one of the ways. There are 3 major engagers. There are a host, a bevy, a plethora of minor aligners. And I would be happy to help you understand all of them and how to become a great communicator and engaging speaker. Let me know how I can help you out. Thanks a lot.